Welcome to a complete breakdown of the biggest gaming controversies of all time. From broken launches and industry-changing lawsuits to decisions that divided entire fan bases, these moments didn't just upset players, they reshaped how the gaming industry works today. Each one tells a story about expectations, trust, and the evolving relationship between developers and the people who play their games. GTA 6 delay. The long wait for the next Grand Theft Auto became one of the most discussed and persistent controversies in modern gaming, not because of a single failure, but because of how long the silence lasted and how expectations kept growing during that silence. After the unprecedented success of GTA 5, which continued selling millions of copies years after release and generated enormous revenue through GTA Online, Rockstar shifted focus toward maintaining that live service ecosystem. For many fans, this created the feeling that the success of the current game was delaying the next one. Over nearly a decade, rumors, insider leaks, and speculation filled the gap left by the lack of official updates. The situation escalated even further when a massive leak of early development footage surfaced online, raising concerns about security, workplace conditions, and how unfinished content is perceived by the public. This controversy highlights a broader issue in the gaming industry. Modern AAA titles take significantly longer to develop, but player expectations for communication and transparency have also increased. The longer the wait, the higher the expectations become, making it harder for any eventual release to fully satisfy the audience. No Man's Sky launch. No Man's Sky was introduced as a revolutionary space exploration experience with a strong emphasis on procedural generation and player freedom. Early interviews and trailers suggested a universe filled with unique planets, diverse wildlife, dynamic ecosystems, and even the possibility of encountering other players organically. The marketing built an image of near infinite depth and discovery. However, when the game launched, many of these features were either missing, simplified, or unclear in their implementation. Players quickly realized that the experience did not match what they had been led to expect, leading to accusations of misleading marketing. The backlash was intense, with widespread criticism across gaming communities and media outlets. Refund requests surged, and the game became a symbol of over-promising in the industry. What makes this controversy especially significant is what happened afterward. Instead of abandoning the project, the developers committed to years of consistent free updates, gradually adding features and improving systems. Over time, the game evolved into something much closer to its original vision, transforming public perception and turning one of the biggest launch failures into one of the most notable redemption stories in gaming history. Battlefront 2 loot boxes. Star Wars Battlefront 2 became the center of one of the largest controversies in gaming when players discovered that its progression system was deeply tied to loot boxes. These purchasable items could grant gameplay advantages, meaning players who spent more money could gain a competitive edge. This system was widely criticized as pay-to-win, especially in a full-priced game. The backlash quickly extended beyond the gaming community, attracting attention from mainstream media and government regulators. Concerns were raised about whether loot boxes resembled gambling, particularly because they involved randomized rewards and were accessible to younger audiences. Investigations and discussions about regulation began in multiple countries, marking a rare moment where a video game system triggered real-world policy debates. EA was forced to disable microtransactions shortly before launch and later rework the progression system entirely. This controversy became a turning point for the industry, leading many developers and publishers to reconsider how they implement monetization systems and how transparent they are with players. Cyberpunk 2077 launch. Cyberpunk 2077 was one of the most anticipated games of its generation, supported by years of marketing, high-profile trailers, and a strong reputation from its developer. It promised a dense, immersive open world with deep customization, branching narratives, and advanced AI systems. However, when the game launched, especially on last-generation consoles, it was plagued with severe technical issues, including crashes, visual glitches, and inconsistent performance. The scale of the problem quickly became apparent as players shared footage online, and the situation escalated into a full-blown controversy. Sony eventually removed the game from its digital storefront, an extremely rare move, and refunds were widely offered. The controversy raised major questions about how games are marketed versus their actual state at release, as well as the pressure developers face to meet deadlines. It also highlighted the risks of announcing games too early and building years of hype that may not align with the final product. The long-term recovery efforts improved the game significantly, but the launch remains a defining example of how damaging a rushed release can be. Fortnite Apple lawsuit. The legal battle between Epic Games and Apple began when Epic introduced an alternative payment system within Fortnite, intentionally bypassing Apple's standard commission fees. Apple responded by removing Fortnite from the App Store, which immediately escalated the situation into a major legal dispute. Epic framed the conflict as a fight against monopolistic practices, while Apple defended its policies as necessary for maintaining security and quality control. The case quickly became one of the most high-profile legal battles in the tech industry, drawing attention from governments, developers, and consumers worldwide. It raised fundamental questions about who controls digital marketplaces, how revenue should be shared, and whether platform holders have too much power. The controversy extended far beyond gaming, influencing broader discussions about App Store policies and digital economies. Regardless of the legal outcomes, it reshaped how developers and companies think about platform dependency and distribution. PS3 network hack. The PlayStation 3 network outage caused by a major security breach became one of the most serious incidents in gaming history. In 2011, Sony's online service was taken offline for weeks after hackers gained access to sensitive user data, including personal information from millions of accounts. The downtime lasted for an extended period, leaving players unable to access online features, multiplayer services, or digital purchases. What made the situation even more alarming was the scale of the breach and the uncertainty surrounding what data had been compromised. Sony faced heavy criticism for how the situation was handled, including delays in informing users and questions about the platform's security measures. The incident led to increased awareness of cybersecurity in gaming and forced companies to take stronger measures to protect user data. It remains one of the most significant examples of how vulnerable online gaming ecosystems can be. Diablo Immortal reveal. The announcement of Diablo Immortal at a major gaming convention was expected to be a celebration of the franchise, but instead, it became a moment of controversy. Fans had anticipated a new mainline entry for PC, continuing the series' legacy. Instead, they were presented with a mobile game, which many perceived as a shift away from the franchise's core audience. The reaction was immediate and highly visible, with negative responses both at the event and online. A developer's response during the presentation became widely shared and symbolized what many saw as a disconnect between companies and their communities. This controversy reflects a broader trend in the gaming industry, where companies are increasingly targeting mobile markets due to their massive global reach and profitability. While this strategy makes business sense, it can create tension when longtime fans feel their expectations are being overlooked. Fallout 76 launch. Fallout 76 represented a major departure from the traditional formula of the Fallout series, introducing an online multiplayer experience in a franchise known for its single-player storytelling and world building. At launch, the game faced numerous issues, including technical problems, lack of engaging content, and design decisions that didn't align with player expectations. The controversy expanded beyond the game itself, with additional problems such as issues with collector's edition items and communication missteps. The situation became a case study in how multiple smaller issues can combine into a larger reputational crisis. Over time, updates improved the experience and added more content, but the initial launch left a lasting impact on how players viewed both the game and the developer. It demonstrated how important first impressions are, especially for established franchises with loyal fan bases. Xbox One, always online controversy. When Microsoft first revealed the Xbox One, it introduced policies that required a constant internet connection and placed restrictions on used games. These decisions were presented as part of a broader vision for the future of gaming, but they were quickly met with resistance. Many players saw these policies as limiting their freedom, particularly those with unreliable internet access or those who valued the ability to share and resell physical games. The backlash was immediate and widespread, amplified by comparisons to competing consoles that did not have the same restrictions. Sony capitalized on this moment with messaging that emphasized consumer-friendly policies, further intensifying the situation. In response to the backlash, Microsoft reversed its policies before the console's launch. This controversy remains one of the clearest examples of how quickly public opinion can influence corporate decisions in the gaming industry. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare reveal. The reveal of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare became a focal point for growing frustration within the fanbase. Over several years, the series had gradually shifted toward more futuristic settings, incorporating advanced technology, space combat, and science fiction elements. While some players enjoyed this evolution, others longed for a return to the more grounded, historical, or modern settings that originally defined the franchise. The reveal trailer quickly accumulated a massive number of dislikes, becoming one of the most negatively received videos on the platform. This reaction was not just about a single game, but about accumulated dissatisfaction with the direction of the series. It highlighted the challenge of maintaining innovation while also meeting the expectations of a long-established audience. The Last of Us Part 2 leaks. Before its official release, major story elements from The Last of Us Part 2 were leaked online, spreading rapidly across social media and gaming forums. These leaks included critical plot points that significantly impacted how players perceived the game before experiencing it themselves. The early exposure led to intense debate, with strong opinions forming on both sides. Some players were upset by the narrative direction, while others defended the creative choices. After the game launched, the controversy continued as players experienced the story firsthand, further fueling discussions about storytelling, character development, and expectations in sequels. This situation demonstrated how leaks can shape public perception and how difficult it can be for a game to control its narrative once information is released prematurely. Pokémon Sword and Shield Dex Cut. The decision to exclude a large number of existing Pokémon from the game, known as the Dex Cut, marked a significant change for the franchise. For many players, one of the core features of Pokémon had always been the ability to transfer their entire collection from previous games, creating a continuous connection across generations. Removing this feature broke a long-standing expectation and led to widespread disappointment. Fans questioned the reasons behind the decision, especially given the resources and popularity of the franchise. The controversy sparked debates about development limitations, animation quality, game balance, and whether the change was necessary. It also highlighted how even small changes to long-running traditions can have a major impact on player sentiment, especially in franchises with deeply invested communities.